What's up, everybody? Okay, I gotta excuse my background. I'm in my bedroom. I have the best Wi-Fi signal up in here, so we ain't trying to have no new and I do have on clothes because I peeped how that looked. Um, yeah, so I'm not trying to have any drops. So what's going on, everybody? It's Monday, a new week. It's the first day of summer. Holy, what are you doing? There's so much to be grateful for. There's so much to be. Thank you for the heart. There's so much to be thankful for. So much to be grateful for. It's the first day of summer. But I really want to jump right in. I hate taking people's times. I hate when people are on Periscope talking to death. And I'm like, dude, I have a life. So I really want to talk about something that a lot of us don't talk about, and that's failure. And if you would do me the kind, nice, loving favor of sharing with your followers and all that jazz, I believe you swipe left. So I want to talk about, like I said, failure. We live in this world, guys, where it is so, and I'm going to be referring to my notes back and forth, where it is so, we live in such a success-driven world, which is great, right? You get inspired by seeing your peers on social media doing these great things, but then there are those times when you failed, and you're like, looking to the left, looking to the right, like, am I the only one? Especially if you're trying to accomplish a great dream, whether it's starting a business, whether it's, starting a family, whether it's buying a home, whether it's getting out of debt. Life is about failure. Like, you're not going to learn anything from your successes. You're going to learn about failure. And nobody likes failure. To be honest, the fear of failure is probably the most common reason why people don't go after their dreams, why people stay content, why people stay places that they know that they shouldn't be. And rightfully so. Failure can be embarrassing. It can be painful. It can be downright depressing when you're dealing with failure, especially if it's failure after failure or failure in multiple areas of your lives. And I know you're like, so Maria, how do you know? Well, I've been there, done that, and got the t-shirt. For those of you who don't know me, I'm founder and CEO of Embrace Her Legacy. And what I do through my company is I empower women and girls to essentially birth their dreams and live according to their purpose. And I do that through personal development programs. I'm a speaker. I'm also an author. The name of my book is Take the Limits Off Your Legacy. And, I have this great organization, and everyone tells me, Maria, oh, you exemplify so much strength, and Maria, you're great, and you're such inspiration. I'm like, if she only knew the hell that is breaking loose behind me. But what I've learned is to root myself in something that's unchangeable. And that's my faith. That's what works for me. And I tell people all the time, I'm like, listen, if you out here trying to do anything great, like I said, anything, it can be a multi-million-dollar business, breaking the chains of divorce in your family, trying to lose 50 pounds, getting out of that $30,000 credit card debt, whatever you are going to do, I'm telling you right now, you're going to meet opposition. And if you are not ready to fight back, if you're not ready to deal with failure, and if you're going to wuss out and be a punk every time something happens, then pack up your bags, and just move on and just sit down and just allow yourself to just be normal and mediocre like everyone else. So I know what failure feels like. A year ago to the day, I'm going to tell you guys a cool story. A year ago to the day, June 20th, 2015, I had my book launch, and it was epic fail, like epic fail. Nobody showed up. It was pouring raining outside. It was like crickets in there. Do you know how I felt? Then that week, all hell started breaking. Next week, all hell started breaking loose in my personal life. And on top of that, like the Made to Succeed Academy, which is our personal development program for teen girls. I had one applicant for the Summer Institute last year. I had to cancel the whole program. So I'm financially off. Like, my finances were horrible. My book, Embrace Her Legacy, nobody was buying anything. Nobody was doing anything. Nobody was inviting me to come speak. I was literally, like I said, my personal life was going crazy. And what did I do? I did what I knew best, and I prayed, and I went to the unchangeable force that lives inside of me. And that's what I want to tell you. Sometimes when we're going through these failures, the first thing I did last year was I looked around and I was like, okay, who did I talk to? Nobody. I had no one to talk to, and people still, when I tell them what has happened and transpired in my life, they're like, how did you deal with that? I didn't have anyone to talk to. I didn't have, someone who had done what I'm trying to do on, line one. I couldn't call Mark Cuban, couldn't call Oprah, couldn't call, Joel Osteen. I couldn't call anybody. I was like, who did I call? So I called on my faith. And that's when I realized that everything that I have, everything that I need in order to accomplish whatever it is that has been set out before me lives inside of me. But so many times we want to rely on people, social media, inspiration, quotes. Let me tell you something, baby girl. There's going to be a time where your phone not going to work. Nobody's going to be there. And you have to find out within yourself, how do I navigate through this? I'm actually working on something very special as a gift to help women understand and embrace the cost of being extraordinary, because we out here thinking, oh, I'm going to be powerful, I'm going to be this, I'm going to be that. And you don't understand what that's going to cost you. And it's going to cost you failure, but you need it. It's going to make you even stronger and even better. So I'm going to share with you 5 things, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that you can do after you fail. I wish somebody would at least have given me this a year ago, to give me some sort of hope, to give me some sort of inspiration, to give me some sort of blueprint. Hey, I'm failing left and right. My business is succeeding. This is going on, blah, 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 blah. What do I do? Well, I'm going to tell you, first and foremost, you need to this is not even one of my 5, but I feel led to tell this. You need to first give yourself props for trying. There's a lot of people out here who just like, trust me. I'm like, these past few weeks, I've been just astonished by the quality of the state of the world and how we think and the lost and broken and wounded souls that are looking for validation and expression and worth and so many other things. And you have to give yourself props first and foremost for trying, because most people out here, I don't like the fact that most people are out here looking crazy, and they're content with average and normal and cyclical behavior. But the fact that you're even trying is dope in itself. So you gotta stop and say yourself that. So here's the first thing that you can do when you are experiencing failure, just came out of failure. And this is number 1. And this is the most important thing, and I'm going to lean in for this. Understand that failure is just an event, and it doesn't define who you are. That was my problem. I was defining myself by my bank account. I was defining myself by my business sales. I was defining myself by who was following me on social media. I was defining myself by the relationship I was in. I was defining myself by everything, thinking that made me worthy. And because things weren't going the way I thought they should, not understanding that God had something and what he really wanted for me, better. Everything I had, he wants it for me, but he just wants it better. And I was just too busy crying like, God, it's getting so hard. But that's when I realized that those failures that I was experiencing were just events, and they do not define who I am. That is the most crucial step, okay? Those are just things that happening to you. They may be happening for you, but they do not define who you are. If you allow failure to define who you are, that means you allow success to define who you are. And that is too much power to give away, because that means that your self-worth, your security, your joy, your happiness is in what's happening around you, as opposed to what's already inside of you. Happiness is one thing, joy is another. Happiness, I like to say, is contingent upon what's happening to you. Joy is like constant. It's like no matter what happens, no matter what's going on, you can still find joy. And I find my joy in God. I find my joy. I will not sit here and say like I am not a Christian and I don't believe in my joy, which is in Christ. And that's for me. You rock out and do what you need to do. But I know what I know. When I'm in my bedroom crying on my knees at night, I'm not by myself. And it is only by his hand that I can still have joy in the midst of trials and still have that peace. So you have to understand that you're worthy whether or not you failed or succeed, whether or not you failed 1,000,000 times. You have to know that you are still worthy. And I'm telling you this, no successful person has got it on the first try. Everybody who's out here on Instagram, Snapchat, oh, we got it, they're lying. And let me tell you, the harder it is to obtain it, that means it's going to be a lot to maintain it too. You get what I mean? So if it's hard to obtain, that's because you're being prepared to maintain it 5-10 years down the line. If it comes too fast and you don't know how to deal with it, and you don't know how to deal with being resourceful in your business, if you don't know how to deal with managing some maybe some children who have some sort of behavior issues. If you don't know how to deal with those type of things, now how you going to deal with it later down the line? So a lot of times we got to have a different perspective about our failures and understand that, one, they are events and it does not define us. Two, change your mindset and expectations. I'm talking to myself here, okay? Because once you've experienced failure, it can be such a challenge to expect anything good to happen. You're like, oh, hell no. Oh, I'm going to fail this test again. Oh, I'm not going to get my license again. Oh, I'm going to fail my this and this. Oh, they're not going to approve me for the loan. Oh, it is just like you're just expecting it because you've heard no after. Thank you for those hearts, guys. You're hearing no, 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 no. And you're just sitting there, you're like, I'm just going to give up. No, he's I was about to say a bad word. No, he ain't no good. What I heard? He's a nipple tigger. Y'all get that, right? and I heard somebody say that. I thought that was hilarious the other day. And he's just like the restaurant. So you already thinking like, oh, nothing good can come at us. But that's where you allow your failure to start defining your future. That's the trick. That's when you start allowing your failure to destroy what is set out before you, in front of you. Okay, that's when you're allowing failure to steal what is allowed in front of you, because everything begins in the mind, and you gravitate to what you focus on. So if you keep focusing on, all right, this one left, my business partner, they stole some money, and, my husband's over here, blah, 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 doing whatever. If you keep focusing on that, that's what you're attracting. So you have to change your mindset and change your expectations. Miracles don't happen to everybody. You know why miracles don't happen to everybody? Because not everybody's expecting them. Miracles are birthed in the atmosphere or expectation. So if you're not expecting anything to change, if you just keep thinking with that failing mindset, then you've already lost, and you can just stay in failure land. Nobody got time to be in failure land all the time. Hello. Number 3, have a positive evaluation of what happened, okay? So in order to move forward, you have to have a positive evaluation for your past. So instead of blaming yourself, others, having, an ice cream party for yourself for, let's say, 3 weeks. I will tell you this. I get it. Sometimes a girl just need her ice cream, and you just need to sit, vent, and cry. But don't do that for a month straight, okay? So instead of doing all of that, holding on to bitterness, holding on to unforgiveness, holding on to anger, you need to just sit down and ask yourself, what can I learn? Why do you think that failure had to happen? How can this prepare me for my future? In light of what my future holds, what's the wisest way for me to address my past, right? And a good way to have a positive evaluation of what happened is to name it. So instead of saying my business is failing, I'm broke, you can change your perspective to say I'm learning perseverance and how to become resourceful so that I can effectively run my successful business in the future. Okay, so if you know how to run the business on $2.50 right now, let's say in 10 years down the line, you have $1 million business, but let's say there's a recession that goes on and you need to start cutting back. You're going to refer back to the days where you had $2.50 and say, okay, this is what I know. This is what we need to skip. This is what we need to do. And you're going to learn how to be more resourceful and cost effective later down the line, okay? Or instead of a bad breakup, oh, he ain't ish, oh, this is, say it, think of it, God eliminating the wrong person to make me prepared for the right person. It's a total, and it takes away that negative energy, all that. You got to understand, all them words you speaking, and you keep talking about it, that's negative energy that you're speaking. This is not part of my list, but I'm going to tell you right now, keep certain things to yourself. You don't have to keep repeating. You don't have to go on Facebook crying about everything that happens. Let me tell you, baby girl, you are a lot stronger than you think you are. Do you understand me? You need to keep telling yourself, I can get through this. I am a lot stronger than I think I am. Everything that I need is already inside me. God is for me. When you start to understand that God is for you and he's not against you, oh gosh, you become unstoppable. It's like, what's next? So I need you to stop the whole getting on the phone with the girlfriends and being like, let me tell you what this happened. Let me tell you what this happened. Let me tell you this, that, and the third. No, it's sometimes you just got to be in a cocoon, and sometimes you just got to feel that pain. All of us want to grow up and be women's, right? Women's. Everybody want to grow up and be a woman, but you run away the first sign of growing pains. You cannot run away at the first sign of those growing pains, okay? So that was number 3. Have a positive evaluation of what happened. Number 4, take responsibility for any part that you have. This one is obvious, and we say it to everybody else, but we have to be cognizant and go back. Where did I go wrong? What did I miss? Was something that maybe, I stayed there because I was fearful. I was prideful or whatever. You have to accept whatever part of the pie of that failure that you own. And maybe it's just a small piece. Maybe it was, I should have went with my gut instinct. Or everything that was happening wasn't making sense, and I should have trusted myself, or I shouldn't have got into another relationship after I just got out of a traumatic one, or I shouldn't have took out that $10,000 loan for this business, knowing that I didn't have a business plan or the money to pay that back. So whatever it is, you have to accept it. You have to own it, forgive yourself, and do whatever healing needs to be done. Allow yourself to take time. We act like time is not our friend. Time is your friend when it comes to healing, okay? The world is not going to end. You're gonna get through this, and time is your friend if you need to heal from any failures in your past or any wounds that you're carrying. And number 5, determine what wisdom you can take away from the failure. And that's pretty easy, Say what you're responsible for, determine what lessons you can walk away this, and just how can you apply it next time? And this is a great question to ask. What parameters or boundaries do you need to set the next time? Ladies, a lot of us, we don't do that. We just be like, okay, we don't have any boundaries, and we just gonna go with the flow, blah, 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 blah. No, you gotta have some sort of boundaries to say, nah, kid, you not getting none of this. If you come, I'm gonna keep going back to relationship. If you in a bad place in a relationship, or you meeting a new guy, have some boundaries, because the last 6, you didn't have no boundaries, and look what you got you. If you're going into a business relationship with someone, have some boundaries. If you're trying to become getting a new client for your freelancing web design business, have some boundaries next time so you don't burn out and you're not having anxiety attacks. Tell your clients, listen, I'm available from this time to this time. After that, I am no longer available. You have to understand what boundaries do you need to set so that you can avoid them failures from the past. But what mistakes can you say if you got to put yourself on a budget because your failure is financially, and you're like, okay, what boundaries do you need to set so that you can no longer keep committing the same mistake, failure after failure? I told y'all once, I heard about this woman who put her credit cards in a bowl of water in a freezer. so that she said, so that she knew that anytime she wanted to go spend money or buy some more credit, she would have to thaw out her credit cards, which would just make her not want to spend it anyway. This is what I mean by setting parameters and boundaries in place and having something in order to stop you from making them same mistakes. And some things are not, some things happen to us, we ain't got nothing to do with it, and it's just like, the negative, Satan and his minions. Satan is real, y'all, but that's a whole nother story. But it's him and his minions doing something to attack you, and you gotta armor up. That's when you armor up, and I'll do a whole nother Periscope on how to armor up and fight these battles and fight this warfare. Okay, so if you have failure, let me go over the 5 steps. Okay, so 5 things again that you can do to overcome, or what you can do after failure is: 1, understand that the failure is just an event and it doesn't define you. 2, change your mindset and expectations. 3, have a positive evaluation of what happened. 4, take responsibility for any part that you have. 5, determine what wisdom you can take away from that failure. How can you apply that to your future? So if you had some failure with your goals, and you want to work with an accountability partner, please know that I'm available for private goal setting sessions, and we can work one-on-one on your goals. And then sometimes it's good to work with somebody else who they can see certain things that you can't, and help you setting and defining and achieving your goals and creating a blueprint and success plan to get there. You can learn about setting up one of those sessions with me at embraceherlegacy.com/session. Once again, embraceherlegacy.com/session, and that's a great way, session, embraceherlegacy.com/session, and that's a great way to, like I said, get insight from someone who may see mistakes that you've missed. So I want you to remember this last thing: your heart feels what your heart feels as a result of what you're concentrating on. If you keep concentrating on them failures, if you keep concentrating on the past, your heart is going to keep on hurting. And you need to be careful, because all the issues in life flow out of the heart. You do not want to let anything, anyone, any circumstance block what is for you, because you're holding on to it in your heart. Fix your eyes on the future and take your eyes away from that failure and put them to what is in front of you. Think about the endless possibilities that God has for you. Girl, if you knew what was coming, you'd be like dancing up and down if you knew exactly what was coming. So that's my time. I hope I didn't take too much of your time, ladies. My name is Maria Melendez. You can follow me on Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, all those things at Embrace Her Legacy. And YouTube, Embrace Her Legacy. That's it. Everything is Embrace Her Legacy. And nowadays, it's so easy to find people. And you can learn more about my classes and my programs and my teachings at embraceherlegacy.com. Again, embraceherlegacy.com. Inspiring, educating, and empowering millennial women to birth dreams and defeat fears and become the woman you have been created to be. All right, have a good day. Enjoy this is the longest day of the year, because it's summertime, baby, and make this summer count. Don't fall off on your goals just because it's summertime either. All right, later.